Part 78. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 783. Chapter 764, Tai Golden Ship, Green Elm Sacred Tree. The golden ship, which turned into a 1,000-foot-long giant, crashed into it again like a crazy giant bull. Countless pitch-black cracks appeared on the bow of the golden ship. That is a sign of space fragmentation. Click. The sound of trees snapping was heard in unison. A completely crushing attitude. Boom. The loud sound like a drum shook thousands of miles. A giant wooden pile 5,000 feet high, hundreds of feet in diameter, with a 100-foot tree growing from the top blocked the golden ship. This big tree was so hard that it blocked the Tai golden ship that destroyed mountains and mountains. Tai Zhenjun stood on the top deck of the ship, looking at the huge withered yellow tree with his hands behind his hands, showing surprise. It is rumored that the national treasure of the Jin Kingdom is an extremely hard sacred tree called the Green Elm Sacred Tree. Now it seems that the rumors are true. Activate the Phantom of Bronze Mirror in Danshan. At the core of the big dry wooden pile, 3 complete lines of innate Tai King Mu fundamental Qi were discovered. No wonder it's so hard. It turns out to be a high-grade Tai immortal root. As for the hundreds of feet of new branches on the top of the wooden pile, they are just new shoots emerging from dead wood. It's a pity. Tai Zhenjun shook his head. If it weren't for the restrictions of Qi County's divine law, with the nature of this sacred tree, I would be able to refine a top-grade Tai immortal treasure. Actuating the Tai golden boat, the third level of Buddha's light suddenly appeared, and a round and jade-like relic emerged. The 4th iron ring swayed, and a Zen staff bloomed with brilliance. The 5th level's aura was sharp, and a crescent-shaped long knife appeared. The national treasure of the Zixia Kingdom, the Qinghong relic. The iron Zen staff that is the master of Qinglong Temple's mission to propagate Buddhism. That knife, the ultimate immortal weapon. Wanyan Zhonghan's face was filled with shock. Together with the golden boat, this man already had 6 top-quality immortal weapons in his hands. It should be noted that treasures of this level are the treasures of the country, and cannot be owned by the great sects, the 5 immortal realms, the 4 seas and 3 mountains, or the golden immortals. Even with the power of his Jin kingdom, there are only 6 treasures of this level. Apart from Aruhan's Tiger Soul Sword and Wanyanzhen's Kirin Treasure Staff, the remaining 4 items were all in his hands. But up to now, apart from the natal treasure Green Elm Divine Wood and the previously used Poisonous Dragon Sword, Luoshu, and the Black Dragon Cauldron have been lost. But compared to his poverty, the big fat man wearing a sultry red Taoist robe had 6 top-quality immortal weapons alone. Among them is the Luoshu that originally belonged to him. What shocked him even more was that the golden ship could actually gather the power of all treasures. Looking at the huge ship with a mighty aura and rising aura, Wanyan Zhonghan took a deep breath, transformed, and in the blink of an eye turned into a huge green unicorn with green scales all over its body, a single horn on its head, giant eyes like lightning, and a body length of 9,000 feet. The huge mouth opened, and a green inner elixir with a diameter of 100 feet flew out. The inner elixir merged with the giant tree, and the latter expanded crazily as if taking a Shiquan Dabu pill, turning into a huge tree tens of thousands of feet high and 3,000 feet in diameter in the blink of an eye. Even the inner elixir is pressed. It seems that he is going to fight for his life. That's fine, it's up to me. There was a spiritual light on the 6th floor of the Tai golden ship, and an ordinary black clay pot appeared. The scent of this clay pot is stronger than the 5 immortal artifacts in the ship's building below the golden ship. A layer of black aura merged into the golden ship. The dazzling Tai golden ship was covered with a layer of black gauze, but the aura on its body was once again twice as powerful. Boom! The space shattered instantly. The 100 feet of void in front of the golden ship seemed to be completely shattered like a mirror. Both sides were angry. Visible to the naked eye. In the sky, a dark golden stream of light, like a star falling from the sky, crashed into a huge tree like lightning. Getting closer, getting closer. Sudden. The blue light surged, and the dazzling golden light made it seem like there was an extra sun in the sky. Boom. The continuous roar shook tens of thousands of miles. The space opened, revealing a large black hole thousands of feet in diameter. The heavy air barrier turned into a white raging wave, sweeping across tens of thousands of feet like lightning. The powerful air wave, like a level 12 storm, tore the area thousands of miles into pieces. Wow! Wanyan felt an overwhelming force coming from his natal giant tree. In an instant, I felt the energy and blood in my body churning, and a mouthful of blood spurted out. Before he could recover, a huge cave suddenly appeared behind him. The infinite devouring power enveloped the whole body, although he was always wary of the big black hole. But at this moment, the energy and blood from being hit were churning, and the magic power in Danshan was difficult to maintain, and he couldn't escape for a while. The huge body was instantly sucked. No. At the critical moment, Wanyan went berserk instantly. The 9,000-foot-long Kylan body exploded with infinite power and struggled desperately. Boom. The golden ship at full power collided again. The impact of the moon-breaking force of the mountain made Wanyan subconsciously activate the sacred green elm tree in front of him. Boom. A loud noise. The green elm sacred tree was instantly knocked away by the Tai golden ship, and with a mountain of power, it hit Wanyan chest and abdomen hard. In an instant, the scales shattered and the sky was stained with blood. Ouch! The roar of pain resounded through the sky. This collision, coupled with the huge suction force of the sky-swallowing can behind it. More than half of the 9,000-foot-long Kylan body entered in an instant. The closer to the last moment, when life and death were at stake, the stronger Wanyan struggle became. The blood-stained ferocious mouth is covered with white fangs. The giant eyes protrude, full of fierce light. Ah, I won't let you have an easy time even if I die. Amidst the tragic roar, Wanyan was about to explode his inner elixir when suddenly a light black 1,000-foot-long sword light came, imaginary and real, like lightning. Wanyan attention was focused on the giant hole behind him and the golden ship in front of him, and he subconsciously avoided it. But it was able to avoid it as most of its body was sucked. 2-5 Soul-cutting sword. The sword light ignored the scale defense and entered the body instantly. The soul-cutting knife practiced by Su Junming is in line with the soul path and can convert between reality and reality. Unless you use a powerful magical weapon, it is difficult to stop it with your physical body. Wanyan felt a pain in his head and lost consciousness instantly. With his magic power scattered and unable to resist, he was swallowed whole by the sky-swallowing jar. Tai Zhenjun stretched out his hand, and the huge hole turned into a 1-foot-tall black pottery jar, which flew down into his palm. Looking at the Kylan rolling in the darkness, he pinched a few seals with his right hand, stretched out his hand to grab it, and a Kylan phantom split into 2 parts flew out of Wanyan body. Fortunately, I saved some strength, otherwise I would have killed its soul and the 4th child would have complained to me again. Wanyan soul was sealed. Looking at the tall green elm tree not far away, there was a fiery look in his eyes. Hey, I deserve this baby. As soon as he got off the golden boat, with the powerful force of attraction, the green elm tree slowly flew into the 7th floor of the golden boat. Almost forgot. With a move of his hand, a black magic sword flew out of Wanyan body and fell into the 8th level. A rush of mana. Rigui on the 1st floor. Luo Shu on the 2nd floor. The Qinghong relic on the 3rd floor. The Iron Zen staff on the 4th floor. The soul-cutting sword on the 5th level. The sky-swallowing jar on the 6th floor. The green elm sacred tree on the 7th floor. The poison dragon sword on the 8th floor. The Swanyan gourd on the 9th floor. A layer of brilliance, a treasure blooming. The aura of the Tai golden ship, blessed by these 9 top-grade immortal weapons, can cover 1,000,000 miles around. All the demon clan trembled under this powerful and boundless aura. Zijing City is also known as the City of 10,000 Buddhas. In this city, located in the largest oasis in the endless sea of sand, monks wearing monastic robes can be seen everywhere. But most of them are still ordinary people with dirty clothes and busy eating 3 meals a day. The imperial palace in the middle of Zijing City is shaped like a temple. The Thousand Buddha Hall in the middle is the center of the palace and also the place for discussion. At this time, the atmosphere in the hall was extremely depressing. The joy that the Dragon King of the Four Seas agreed to help was dashed by the extremely bad news. The Grand Snakes of the Nanzao Kingdom died in the battle, and tens of millions of Wu clan tribesmen disappeared in the country's Yamato city. The collection accumulated over hundreds of thousands of years in Shangsandong, along with their tribal people, all disappeared. Wanyanzonghan died in battle, and the army of Chongshan Academy swept across the entire Jin kingdom. The kingdom of Jin is destroyed. As soon as Chongshan Academy took action, it was like thunder. I have long said that if we don't take action first, we will only be defeated by him one by one. Now everything has come true. Wan Yanzhen's face was livid, and his expression was extremely ugly. Now, although he has the cultivation of a golden immortal, he is a lost dog. Although Nanzao suffered heavy losses, it still maintained the dignity of the country. Take action immediately and set off now. I want to avenge the witch warriors who died in the battle. Si Zhanteng suddenly stood up, his eyes were blood red and he was full of evil energy. The continuous heavy losses made him lose his cool. Amitabha. The vast sound waves shook the eardrums. The prohibition of Thousand Buddhas Hall emerged, blocking the sound. The beard and hair of the empty phase are flying, and the momentum is booming. Two fellow Taoists, the more critical the moment comes, the more calm you must be. Although I can't wait to go to Yunzhou City now and kill Su Junming to avenge the dead fellow Taoists. But even if we all take action now, it will just be a repeat of the Liao Kingdom. The story will not only fail to avenge us, but it will also cost us our lives. Wan Yanzhen stared at him with red eyes. We can guess it, and Su Junming must also want it. Even if we don't go, he will kill Zijing City. Then you and I will die here. That's why we have to temporarily cut off our edge and leave Zijing City temporarily, Li Yuanhao said in a deep voice. Leave Zijing City. That's right. I have moved the White Emperor's immortal realm 90,000 miles away, under the endless yellow sand. At this moment, the heavens are in chaos, and Su Junming can't find us. Are we going to be like mice, hiding underground forever? Suzanne said angrily. Of course not. The reason why the Four Seas Dragon clan promised us to deal with Chongshan Academy together, but did not take action at this moment. It is simply because they want to use Chongshan Academy's hand to further weaken us, so that we can dominate the alliance and then swallow up the greatest benefits. Now their goal has been achieved. I dare to say that they will come here to join us in less than 3 days. After all, the Dragon clan is not stupid. They know very well that if we are all dead, it will be difficult to defeat Chongchong with their strength alone. Shan Academy cannot compete with Zhao Kuangyan or the Central Plains Taoist sect for the position of co-leader of the world. After a pause, Monk Kongxiang's steady gaze slowly swept over Wan Yanzhen and Suzanne. So, the most important thing for us to do now is to be patient. Only by enduring this temporary anger can we seek a longer-term future. The atmosphere in the hall became silent. Wan Yanzhen looked gloomy, while Si Zhan next to him had red eyes and was breathing heavily. Roar. Angry roars shook the hall. Su Junming, Si Zhan, are at odds with you. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 784. Kongshanju's backyard is a spiritual island of good fortune. Su Junming planted the top-grade immortal root Yuling pear that the Dragon Emperor obtained from Nanzhao together with the Yuling pear cultivated previously. The latter was obviously larger, hundreds of feet tall, with its fluffy crown spread out, covering the land for miles. Like fine emeralds, covered by the gleaming branches and leaves, are pears as big as water tanks, half green and half yellow, not yet fully ripe. Compared with it, the Yuling pear next to it that Su Junming cultivated with the spirit water of creation is only a quarter of the size. I don't know how far we are from the result. After nodding with satisfaction, he stretched out his hand. Bring it here. What? Tai Zhenjun pretended to be dumbfounded. Wanyanzonghan's natal spiritual treasure green elm divine wood is made from the main rod of the above grade Tai immortal root. I have been keeping an eye on it for a long time. Don't hide it. Besides, a spiritual root is the best choice to let it grow and sprout. Then the flowers, leaves, and fruits can be used to make elixirs. Even for making weapons, you only need to break off one branch, and the root will not be damaged. The utilization rate is much better than what you have now. What's more, the green elm tree is a rare high-grade Tai immortal root. In the future, when we ascend, this thing will be of great use if it returns to its origin. Tai Zhenjun sighed, I knew I couldn't hide it. However, you still have to compensate me with a top-quality immortal weapon, otherwise my Tai golden ship, which has finally been completed, will have an empty space on the first floor. As he spoke, a white cloud flew out from behind, and a bit of yellow-green light flew out, and in the blink of an eye, it turned into a giant tree thousands of feet high in the sky. At the top of the giant tree, surrounded by greenery, is a sprout hundreds of feet high. Looking at it, Su Junming showed a hint of enthusiasm on his face. There are nearly 1,000 kinds of immortal roots on Creation Spirit Island, and their number is nearly 1,000,000. But most of them are immortal roots. The real Tai immortal roots now only have the 7 treasure gourd vine and the 3-star albizia julibrissin. Both of them were of extraordinary origin, and they later advanced after receiving 500 years of creation and nurturing in the creation spiritual pond. Now including the green elm spirit wood, there are already 3 types of Tai immortal roots. Less than the innate spiritual roots. However, on his creation spirit island, many top-quality immortal roots have reached the advanced stage under the nurturing of creation. It's just that the spiritual energy is still somewhat insufficient. When he comes to the world in the future, he will soon usher in a wave of advancement. Found an open space again on Creation Spirit Island. With a slap on the gourd on his waist, a navy blue stone tablet flew out. It took root on the ground, and at the same time, a powerful spiritual light enveloped the surrounding 3 acres, and soon the spiritual light dissipated invisible. Lines of writing appear on the stone tablet. Tai immortal root, the 2nd-class Sankingyu spiritual wood. As he took a step forward, light flashed before his eyes, and a huge space that was thousands of miles wide and 30,000 feet high appeared in front of him. Opening his left palm, the sacred green elm tree flew out from the mustard seed space in his palm and fell onto the earth. Su Junming stretched out his hand, and a stream of milky white spiritual water of creation turned into the spiritual energy of creation all over the sky and merged into the giant tree. In an instant, you can see that this dead wood pile seems to have come to life. The withered yellow color of the skin quickly fades away. At the same time, countless roots, starting from small to large, dig deep into the soil like a rapidly enlarging giant python. Branches quickly sprouted from the originally rough tree, and tender green branches and leaves, like fine emeralds, were soon covered with branches. The bud at the top of the stake grew thicker and thicker, becoming the largest branch. In just a moment, the large wooden pile that was originally several thousand feet in diameter and 300 feet in diameter turned into a lush and vibrant tree. However, limited to the spiritual energy, this green elm sacred tree is far from being restored to its peak. Of course Su Junming is not in a hurry. Raising things requires patience. In the future, when you come to the upper world, your spiritual energy will be richer, and your spiritual roots will naturally recover. Looking at the green elm spiritual root that seemed to be inserted into the divine tree, Su Junming felt a sense of satisfaction in getting a treasure in his heart. This is the most typical mentality of collectors. With a slap on the gourd on his waist, a golden basin wrapped in spiritual light flew towards Zhenjun Tai next to him. This thing is left for you to suppress the golden ship. What, you don't want it anymore? I have fully comprehended the above prohibitions, and this Guangcheng golden basin is no longer needed. Tai Zhenjun nodded. I never thought this thing would go around in a circle and come back here again. Collect the Guangcheng golden basin. It has been 3 months since we captured Yan Zhonghan and Si Zhan. Why is there still no movement from Zixia? Tai Zhenjun said. When something goes wrong, there must be a monster. Why don't I go take a look? The Dragon Emperor, who had been silent until now, spoke. Su Junming pondered for a moment and then shook his head. Even if we join the Dragon Clan, we are now in an invincible position. We don't need to pay too much attention for the time being. On the other hand, on the Liangshan side, Chao Gai has died in Zhengtu City, but there is no reaction from Tianchi Dao. Is it strange? Probably something went wrong with Zhongli Lao Dao, who was stationed at Tulonggang, Tai Zhenjun said. I don't know whether Tianchi Dao is too confident or worried about his reputation, but he only deployed Chao Gai as a chess piece. If he could recruit a few Tiangang evil stars to get started, Zhao Kuangyan would not have taken away Liangshan, which he had worked so hard to build, and it is still there today. They were kept in the dark. The Dragon Emperor shook his head. Haha, the real version of Chen Qiao wears a yellow robe, Su Junming said. Do you want to remind them? Dragon Emperor asked. No, the longer it takes now, the better it is for us. The Dragon Emperor nodded. Chongshan Academy needs time to digest the Jing Kingdom's territory. Gudu, a gulp of wine. I really want to see the expression on Zhang Liadao's face when he received the news that Song Zhang accepted your imperial edict from the imperial court. I believe it will be very exciting. The three of them laughed. Deep Sea, Crystal Palace. I don't know if it is in the dragon gene. Almost every dragon in the world will condense the true water and build a crystal palace as their own dojo. I have to say, this place looks absolutely gorgeous. The Crystal Palace accounts for part of the reason why the name of the Dragon Clan's many treasures has spread so widely. In the depths of this dreamlike Crystal Palace, countless soldiers and crab generals in helmets and armor patrol back and forth, carrying water that cannot be poured in and needles that cannot penetrate. Under layers of guards, there is a palace located in the coral jungle. The Dragon King of the Four Seas, with the body of a dragon and gorgeous clothes, is sitting on a coral chair drinking tea. There are various pastries on the coral table in the middle, which are fragrant. Brother, Kong Xiang is here to urge us to take action again. Ao Bing, the Dragon King of the South China Sea, wearing a red dragon robe, said. In fact, the Dragon Kings of the Four Seas are not real brothers, but they are brothers of the opposite sex who belong to the Dragon Clan and formed a relationship in order to survive. Sitting on the main seat is Ao Chia, the Dragon King of the East China Sea. His cultivation has reached the late golden immortal stage. He is the tallest among the four brothers and is naturally the leader. Ao Chia frowned. Is this the 9th time he has come? Ao Bing nodded. It has only been 7 days since the last time we came here. The time is getting shorter and shorter. It seems that their patience is about to reach the limit. North Sea Dragon King Ao Ding said. Brother, do you want to keep dragging it on? Ao Bing asked. Hang on, although there are turbulent undercurrents in the Central Plains, there is still no open conflict between Zhao Kuangyan and the Central Plains Taoist section. Now we join in and destroy Chongshan Academy, and it will become a three-party struggle for hegemony. Zhao Kuangyan and the Zhongyuan Dao sect have a basis for cooperation thousands of years ago, and they are both human beings. it is easy for them to join forces and kick us out first. Therefore, we must not take the lead until the situation is clear, Aogia said solemnly. In this case, it will be difficult to explain to Zixia. And if Su Junming comes to them first, they will probably be destroyed like the Liao kingdom before. Aoyi, Dragon King of the West Sea, said in a deep voice. Haven't they already been hiding? In addition, it is not so easy to be discovered due to the chaos of the current world. Moreover, Su Junming is not stupid. After destroying Zixia, he will be completely exposed to Zhao Kuangyan and Zhou Yuandaemen. Unless he is willing to choose one side to join. Otherwise they will face the same concerns as us. Seeing how he destroyed the Jin and Liao kingdoms and has been fighting alone until now, we know that he will never join Zhao Kuangyan or any of the Central Plains daemon. Therefore, he is also waiting for the situation in the Central Plains to change drastically before he takes action to get rid of Zixia. So we don't have to worry, Aogia said in a deep voice. Ao Yi, Ao Bing, and Ao Ding thought for a moment and nodded. Brother, we can see the current situation clearly, and so do the 4 people in Zixia. I'm afraid that if we don't take action for a long time, if they are recruited by Zhao Kuangyan, Ao Ding said. Aogia's face changed slightly. It was not impossible. Zhao Kuangyan is a heroic person with an emperor's mind. As long as he can achieve his goal, he will do whatever it takes. Now Li Yuanhao and Kong Xiang of Zixia, Si Zhan of Nanzhao, and Wan Yanzhen of Jin Kingdom have been beaten into underground rats by Su Junming. They are in panic all day long, fearing that the other party will come to their door and repeat the story of Liao Kingdom. At this time, if Zhao Kuangyan tried to recruit them, Li Yuanhao and Kong Xiang might hesitate, but now Si Zhan and Wan Yanzhen, who are bent on revenge, would most likely choose to join. Aogia is also a decisive person. Come on, let's go see Kong Xiang. The Huangji Hall in the center of the Yellow Emperor's immortal domain. Zhao Kuangyan sat high up, and Zhao Puan sat next to him. Zixia still hasn't let go. Zhao Pu nodded. Cezanne and Wan Yanzhen are the most insistent. Unless we agree to fight with them to attack Chongshan Academy first, they will never join us. Where are Li Yuanhao and Kong Xiang? The attitude is ambiguous, neither agreeing nor rejecting. After all, Zixia is not like the Jin, Liao, and Nanzhao whose strength has been greatly reduced. They still maintain a strong national power, so they still have the confidence not to become our vassal. Zhao Kuangyan nodded and pondered for a moment. If we attack Chongshan Academy first, will the Zhonyu and Taoist sects stand by and watch? This, Wei Chen is not absolutely sure. You know, although Chao Gai's death has not spread yet, no one knows when it will reach the ears of Tianchi Dao. Once this matter is exposed, if we follow the Celestial Master's Tao, there will be no room for change. The Central Plains Taoist sect will also be incompatible with us. At this time, if we go to fight Chongshan Academy, it will probably turn into an unprecedented decisive battle. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 785. Zhao Kuangyan's expression changed as more than a dozen golden immortals fought to the death. Even if the battle hadn't broken out yet, he could still imagine how brutal it would be. There are too many variables in such a decisive battle. Even if we have prepared so much, we are not sure of victory, Zhao Pu said solemnly. After a long silence, Zhao Kuangyan said quietly. If we refuse Si Zhan and Wan Yanzhen, they will be dragged over by the Dragon Clan. Actually, this is fine. If the 8 golden immortals attack at the same time, they will definitely be able to squeeze out all the secrets of Chongshan Academy. In the end, no matter who loses or wins, they will suffer heavy losses. Relatively speaking, it is much easier to deal with and more difficult to deal with. Confident. All, you tend to say no. Zhao Pu nodded. Both Chongshan Academy and the Dragon Clan are waiting and watching. If the conflict between us and the Central Plains Dao sect does not intensify, they will not take action. Therefore, the initiative is still in our hands. Moreover, compared with dealing with Chongshan Academy, whose strength has not yet bottomed out, it is still the Central Plains Dao sect is easier. After all, we have been preparing for so long and we are very confident. Zhao Kuangyan nodded and said, how is the development of Liangshan? Song Gongming is attacking Dongping Prefecture. The two-gun general Dongping, Wu Yujian Zhongqing, Zhongjian Hu Ding Disun, Huasiang Hu Gongwang, and Purple-beard Bohuang Fuduan will join them soon. So far, Liangshan 108 there will be only one Earth comet left without a trace. Who is Comet Earth? Zhao Pu shook his head. I used the river map to deduce the secret of heaven. Unfortunately, no matter how I deduce it, I can't find any clues about the Earth comet. It's obvious that someone doesn't want us to know. Is there anyone better than you in the art of heavenly secrets and numbers? 12,000 years ago, Daxia destroyed the country and the treasures were scattered. The Hichuluashu, known as the most important treasure of the Shenzhou Tianji Shushu in Qi County, also left the Shenzhou Tianji Pavilion. The Hichu was obtained by His Majesty. It was given to the minister, while Luashu was in the hands of Wanyan Han, the crown prince of the Jin kingdom and later emperor. Zhao Kuangyan's expression changed slightly. You mean Su Junming? Wanyan Han is dead, and Luashu is in the hands of Su Junming. Maybe it's the person from Chongshan Academy who has always been hiding in the dark. But no matter what, De Huixing must have been captured by Chongshan Academy. In this way, Chongshan Academy has long been aware of Tianqi Dao's small actions in Liangshan, and then took away Earth's comet, defeated 108 generals, and gained great fortune after the combination of Tiangang and Earth. Zhao Pu nodded. After pondering for a moment, Zhao Kuangyan said, do you think Su Junming is also aware of our layout in Liangshan? Probably not. Although he said this, Zhao Pu was not completely sure. Of course, Zhao Kuangyan heard the change in his words and sighed slightly. Su Junming is really a difficult opponent. His eyes widened suddenly. Zhao Kuangyan's body was filled with the emperor's domineering energy accumulated for 12,000 years. Ignore De Huixing. When Liangshan captures Dongping Prefecture, let the imperial court issue an order. Then Liangshan's army will turn to attack Jiangnan La, so as to avoid long nights and dreams. Don't you destroy Tianhu first. Tianhu and Chunyang sect are just scabies. Tianqi Dao and Shenxiao Dao are serious problems. I will finish my work on Junshan Mountain in one battle, completely destroy the Central Plains Dao sect, and then fight Chongshan Academy again, wipe out Unia, and rebuild the world. Control the world. My lord, Zhao Puan died to help His Majesty. Clang clang. The fierce chirping of gold and iron sounded like rain hitting banana trees. The dancing spear light was like a silver snake flying. The strong qi and blood made the area within a radius of 10 feet feel like falling into a furnace. Sudden. Bang. There was a loud bang that shook the sky. Two majestic figures suddenly flew back. After landing, a strong man with a height of 8 feet appeared on the left, wearing a green lion armor, a beast head helmet, a short beard on the lower jaw, a Chinese character face, and holding an 8-foot snake spear upside down. On the right is a big man wearing gold armor with a wild goose feather ring, a slightly slender face, a short beard hanging under his nose, bright eyes, and a wild goose feather spear in his palm pointing diagonally towards the left front. That's it for today. A warm and clear voice came from the left side. When the two heard it, the armor and weapons on their bodies were instantly retracted into their bodies. The chi and blood slowly converged, and the breath calmed down. Wearing light green and dark red robes, they strode forward to the right in front of an extremely handsome young man wearing a moon-white robe, a golden crown on his head, and a face like a jade, and cupped his fists in salute. "Meet my mentor." Yu Teng looked at his two apprentices and nodded with satisfaction. Although they are not up to the standard of direct successors of Chongshan Academy, each of them has passed the 300 illusion tests, and is more than enough to be a registered disciple. "Come and sit." Li Ying and Su Ning sat down on the stone bench next to them. According to Yu Teng's instructions, Li Ying searched for a suitable disciple for his master among the heroes in Liangshan. A total of 4 people have been found since then. Zhu Tong, Yang Ji, Su Ning, and Yan Qing. These 4 people have the same characteristics. They don't want to end up in trouble, but are forced to do nothing. Because of Xiaonia's death, Zhu Tong, although he put aside his grudge on the surface after Song Jiang and Wu Yang's persuasion, he was still unwilling to be complicit in it. The reason why Yang Ji came to Erlong Mountain in the first place was because he was kidnapped by Chao Gai, Wu Yang, and the 3 heroes of the Ruan family in Huangnaigang. Now that the enemies who had caused him Luo Cao were all in Liangshan and occupying high positions, how could he be calm? Su Ning was even more unjustly accused and was tricked by his cousin Tang Long. For the sake of his family, he had to go to Liangshan. Yan Qing is naturally because of Lu Junyi. Their experiences and mentality are almost the same as Li Ying's, so they usually communicate more. With Li Ying's introduction and seeing Yu Teng's tyranny, they, who had reluctantly gone up the mountain, naturally put more energy into studying under their master. It has to be said that as Tiangang stars, their qualifications, understanding, and character are all excellent. Each one has passed the 300 tests of the human soul divine sect. Especially Zhu Tong, if he had not been trapped by righteousness and failed to pass the last 3 tests, he would have almost become the first direct disciple of Yu Teng's sect. How's the armor? It's easy to use, right? The power of my Yanfei circle golden armor and hook sickle spear have increased several times, Su Ning said happily. As a military commander, what he cherishes most is his armor and weapons. Mine too. Li Ying nodded in agreement. Haha, in fact, whether it is the golden winged armor, the lion armor, or the hook sickle spear and the white tiger spear, they have all been refined into high-grade immortal weapons by your master. Just because you are not strong enough now, you can only use them. The power is 10% to 20%. As your cultivation level improves in the future, the seals on it will continue to dissolve, and the power of these weapons will be even stronger. Is what the teacher said true? Li Ying said in disbelief. Smile lightly. Give me your white tiger war spear. Li Ying's heart moved, and a Zangba spear appeared in his hand. Yu Teng made a few seals and held the spear shaft with his right hand. In an instant, countless divine patterns flashed from the duck-egg-thick spear shaft, and an extremely sharp, hard, and strong temperament appeared from the spear. The extremely rich treasure light bloomed, and the aura of the white tiger war spear became 100 times stronger. Carrying the flesh and blood essence of the golden winged rock, Yu Teng's cultivation has reached the level of a mid-level military commander after 100 years of hard training. It can completely unlock all the seals on the white tiger war spear. Withdrawing his hand, a series of divine marks flashed across his body, and the aura on the white tiger's spear dropped rapidly, returning to its normal appearance again. How? Li Ying and Su Ning looked excited. Disciple, I would like to thank my mentor for the gift of this treasure. He waved his hand. No need to thank me, your master refined this for you. Just face the northwest and bow. Li Ying and Su Ning quickly stood up and bowed 3 times to the northwest. Okay, come and sit. After the 2 of them sat down. Now, Liangshan has begun to attack Dongping Mansion. If nothing unexpected happens, Liangshan's 108 generals will gather together soon. According to the Song leader's plan, he will most likely accept the imperial decree. Once you succeed, you will then attack the 3 major bandits, Hebei Tianhu, Shuzhong Wangqing, and Jiangnan La. The soldiers are fierce and the battle is dangerous, so you should be more careful. After the two nodded. Master, when can the two of us return to our sect? Su Ning also looked questioning. If he had no choice at the beginning, he would not be willing to go up the mountain and fall into the grass. Now he has become a disciple of Chongshan, the most famous sect in the world. They also want to leave here as soon as possible, practice with peace of mind, and pursue the path of immortality. Don't worry, when you return from the crusade against Fangla, it will be the day you return to Chongshan. Remember, the three major bandits are supported by Taoist sects, and their strength is extraordinary. If you lose, don't fight hard. Since it will activate the phantom of the celestial elephant divine sect, it's better to leave. Disciple, obey. Chongshan lives in the backyard. This Yu family is worthy of being a born general. From Yu He to Yu Tang, it was Han Xian who ordered the troops. The more the better. He never showed mercy in accepting disciples. Especially the little guy Yu Tang, who has only been in Liangshan for a short time and has already had 5 named disciples. Already. If he waits until the end of the conquest of Fangla, will he take all the 36 Tiangangs under his sect? Tai Zhenjun said with a smile. It is impossible to capture all the 36 Tiangangs. Songjiang, Dongping, Li Kuei, and others are not worthy of entering our Chongshan mountain, the Dragon Emperor said coldly. Don't worry about this, I believe Yu Ten knows it well. Moreover, the illusion test of the human soul divine sect is not a fiction. After finishing speaking, Su Junming changed his tone. Now Songjiang has captured Dongping Mansion. In addition to Hu Sunyang, all Liangshan's 108 generals have gathered. Cai Jing has summoned Zhao Ji and issued an edict to Zhaoan. I believe that Liangshan will soon be led by Songjiang to deal with the 3 big bandits, then the war between Zhao Kuangyan and Zhou Yuandaeman will begin. Dragon Emperor and Tai Zhenjun nodded slightly, and the latter said, it has been so long since Zhao Gai was killed, Tianchi Dao still has no response, and Zhang Liadao is too slow. It's not that Zhang Chongyang is slow, but that Zhao Pu used the river map to block the secret of heaven. Moreover, Zhao Gai's affairs are secret to begin with. Within Tianchi Dao, except for a few Xianxian, Zhang Chongyang, and Zhang Xiaoyang, ordinary disciples don't know at all. Again. In addition, Liangshan deliberately concealed it and never spread it, so it is normal for it to attract the attention of Tianchi Dao. Before he finished speaking, Su Junming suddenly stopped. Dragon Emperor and Tai Zhenjun instantly discovered his abnormality. What's wrong? Su Junming did not answer their words. In the blink of an eye, the divine ball appeared in the air and then spun rapidly. After a long time, Su Junming's eyes became sharp. The Dragon King of the 4 Seas has arrived in Xixia. The Dragon Emperor instantly became powerful and filled with murderous intent. Tai Zhenjun suppressed his smile and took a sip of wine. Do you want to do it now? The fish is in the net, no more waiting. Su Junming was categorical. By the way, let's pass the news of Zhao Gai's death to Tianchi Dao. We can't let them have too much time. After the 3 of them looked at each other and smiled, they took a step and disappeared at the same time. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 786. Chapter 767, Fire Cloud Battle, Golden Immortal Showdown. The Fire Cloud Desert stretches 30 million miles across and covers most of Xixia's land. After deducting the small Kunlun Mountains, Baiyun Mountains, and other mountains that stretch across the north and south, less than 20% of the broken plains and valleys can really be left for the Xixia people to reproduce. Even if the oases in the desert are included, Xixia's citizens are only 2 to 300 billion, almost at the bottom among the 5 major countries. Therefore, Xixia's national power is also the lowest among the 5 major countries. Kubulu Desert is the largest branch desert in the Fire Cloud Desert. 6 million miles across, there are no humans or animals. It can be called a real sand sea of death. Even practitioners are unwilling to come here. The scorching sun was in the sky, and the scorching sunshine made the sand hot. The strong wind blows, and the fine grains of sand roll, exposing the bones that were buried under the sand dunes in the past. Suddenly, 3 large black holes appeared in the cloudless mid-air, and 3 streams of light flew out of the holes, transforming into 3 Taoists of different sizes. Judging from the appearance, it was Su Junming, Dragon Emperor, and Tai Zhenjun who came from the Central Plains. These guys are really naive. They think that now that the world is in chaos and they hide here, we can't find them, Tai Zhenjun said with a smile. Let's allocate them first. I'll fight Si Zhan and Wanyan Zhan. The Dragon Emperor's tone was filled with passion, his eyes were shining, and his fighting spirit was soaring into the sky. Then let me deal with those 2 great monks, Tai said after taking a sip of wine. Su Junming nodded and said with a smile, leave the Dragon King of the 4 Seas to me. After saying that, he stretched his waist, and the joints in his body made a sound like fried beans. I haven't done anything for a long time. This time I want to have a good fight. With a wave of his hand, a stream of light rushed into the sky. In the blink of an eye, it turned into a 1,000-foot-long heavenly furnace. Golden lotuses opened one after another, and a large formation was connected with each other. In the blink of an eye, the Kubulu Desert, which is 6 million miles away, is covered. No one can escape today. Su Junming finished speaking. After noticing the abnormal movement in the outside world, 8 rays of light flew out from the small Buddhist paradise hidden tens of thousands of feet deep in the desert, and soon came to the outside world. Everyone was shocked when they saw 3 people in the air, especially the tall Taoist wearing a blue robe. Su Junming. After the shock, everyone's expressions became solemn, including the Dragon King of the 4 Seas. Because Chongshan Academy did not only have 2 golden immortals as they originally thought, but 3. And looking at the auras of the 3 people, they are all golden immortals. At this moment, both the impulsive Si Zhan and the revengeful Wan Yanzhen became cautious. Su Junming, I, Zixia, have no grievances with your Chongshan Academy. Why do you want to come to your door? Are you bullying me? No one in Zixia. Before Li Yuanhao finished speaking, he saw Su Junming pointing like a sword and slashing in the air. In an instant, the surging sword energy rushed in like a furious wave. At the same time, red, black, yellow, white, and green, 5 colors of brilliance shot out, like a rainbow in the sky, falling in the air like lightning. And at the same time, a huge cave with a diameter of nearly 10,000 feet suddenly appeared in mid-air, and the surging power of swallowing it directly enveloped it. The darkness that is so profound and extreme makes people feel terrified. These fools are all on edge and want to say something for the occasion. After Master Tai finished speaking, he flew up. I went first. The Dragon Emperor's expression was cold and his eyes were hot. Without saying much, he took a step and disappeared in an instant. Roar! The roar of the dragon shook the sky. The Dragon King of the 4 Seas suddenly transformed, and in an instant there were 4 giant dragons in the air. Among them, the green dragon is the longest, reaching a height of 9,000 feet. The other 3 dragons are slightly shorter, but still about 6,000 feet. Along with the transformation was Wan Yanzhen, whose 3,000-foot-long unicorn body looked like a small mountain. For the demon clan, they are at their strongest when they are in their true form. Of course the same goes for the Wu clan. Si Zhan stretched out his right palm, and a huge black axe with astonishing evil force appeared in his palm. The physical body is able to grow in the wind, and within a short time it has grown to a height of 8,000 feet. The remaining Li Yuanhao and Kong Xiang are from the human race, and they are at their strongest now. This moment. Demonic spirit in the sky. This moment. Qi and blood are like the sea. This moment. Murderous intent boils. Staring at the roaring dragon in mid-air, the roaring unicorn, and Si Zhan, who was full of evil energy and carrying a giant axe. Su Junming smiled calmly. Well, I haven't used it for a long time. With a thought in his heart, he no longer sealed his blood and mana. In an instant, there seemed to be an extra sun between heaven and earth. The billowing energy and blood, the tyrannical power, were earth-shattering. Boom! The earth trembled. A foot larger than the mountain fell from the sky. The powerful force set off a huge sandstorm within hundreds of miles. In the long yellow sand, there are thick legs that are comparable to the Optimus pillars, supporting the torso with gnarled muscles, and above it is the head that drinks air into clouds and exhales into wind. A wild aura that dominates the world is like a storm, sweeping in all directions. Brother, he is too strong. Ao Bing's tone was trembling. Ao Jialong's eyes widened and he stared into the distance. He could not help but feel a little fear in his heart at the huge monster that was 12,000 feet tall. In most cases, size represents strength. And 12,000 feet is a sign that martial arts monks have reached the perfection of golden immortality. At this moment, Ao Jia couldn't help but feel a little regret. If he hadn't been too ambitious and wanted to seize the position of co-lord of the world, looking forward to the Tai realm, he would not have provoked such a powerful enemy for the Dragon Clan. Everyone, Su Junming is a murderer, and he will retaliate. Today, we are blocked by him, and we can only survive if we fight to the death. Otherwise, even if we escape, he will definitely kill us in the future. Li Yuanhao saw the demons being captured by Su Junming's momentum and quickly issued a warning. Master Li is right. There is no way to retreat today. Moreover, our 8 golden immortals are superior in strength compared to his 3. Before Wan Yanzhen could finish speaking, the Dragon Emperor's great 5 elements divine light had already arrived in front of him. Not daring to neglect, a thick green giant tree appeared in mid-air. The rich green wood aura spread out in all directions, and the power of a top-grade immortal weapon bloomed. It is its natal fairy weapon. Kirin Scepter. Because the Dragon Emperor rarely takes action, no one knows the reality of the great 5 elements divine light. Therefore, without hesitation, Wan Yanzhen directly swiped the Kylin divine staff, and the powerful King Mu's spiritual light rushed straight into the 5 elements divine light. What shocked the others was that the 5-color divine light swallowed the Aoki divine light directly like eating noodles. Unprepared, Wan Yanzhen subconsciously wanted to escape. But the extremely condensed 5-color divine light suddenly exploded, and the vast divine light of 12,000 feet covered his head. Not good. Si Zhan's expression suddenly changed, and in his hand, the shaman god's battle axe, which was several thousand feet in size and powerful, broke through the space and slashed towards the divine light with one strike. But it was beyond his expectation. The divine light was not cut off as he thought, but instead gave him the feeling of being struck into nothingness with an axe, which was extremely uncomfortable. But the next moment, pressure as heavy as a mountain suddenly hit. It was as if the whole world was completely pressed against the witch god's battle axe. Ah! Si Zhan roared angrily, his muscles tangled, trying to pull out this piece. He finally got back the Wu clan's treasure from Su Junming. But a silent, black crescent-shaped space blade thousands of feet long slashed straight towards his chest. Even though he was far away, a faint stinging pain spread from his chest to his mind. Since becoming a high-ranking witch general, he has not experienced such a fatal danger for thousands of years. Gritting his teeth, he abandoned the witch god's battle axe and quickly retreated. Laugh. The tens of thousands of feet of yellow sand silently opened a crack that went tens of thousands of feet underground. The great 5 elements divine light flies up. As bright as a dragon and snake, it flew past the sky and fell behind the Dragon Emperor. But Wan Yanzhen's figure has disappeared. He looked at the handsome, cold-faced young man wearing a white robe, a crane cloak, and a jade crown on his head, with a 5-color divine light behind him and a bronze mirror suspended 3 feet above his head. The Dragon King of the Four Seas, Li Yuanhao, Kong Xiang, and Si Zhan were all shocked. Killed Wan Yanzhen with just one blow. Although the latter is only in the early stage of Golden Immortal, it is too fast, completely subverting everyone's past perceptions. However, Li Yuanhao and Kong Xiang were already stunned. The huge black hole emitting astonishing devouring power was already in front of them. With Wan Yanzhen's lesson learned, they did not dare to use their magical weapons for fear of being swallowed, but the power of Buddhist magical powers was also extraordinary. The right palm of the Dharma Prime Minister claps from a distance, the spiritual energy is gathered, and the magic power is powerful. The giant palm of golden light, which was thousands of feet tall, almost condensed into substance. It is the magical power of Daun Temple, the divine palm of Amitabha. Li Yuanhao clasped his palms together, and the powerful Buddha power exploded. In an instant, the illusion of a huge golden lion head enveloped his whole body. Roar! The earth-shattering lion's roar shook the world. The endless sound waves are like the churning of the sea. The position of the lion's mouth was completely dark. That is the remnant left after the space was shattered. But unexpectedly, no matter how loud the roar was and the shadow of the palm was like a mountain, it was unable to break through the black hole. Instead, it was completely swallowed by the latter. Suddenly, a pressing pressure came from behind. The two subconsciously looked back, and their expressions changed instantly. A huge golden ship was like a falling star, carrying a mountain of tyrannical pressure and crashing into it like lightning. Rewind. Li Yuanhao roared. Kong Xiang is not a fool either. He has already jumped into hiding and is ready to escape. But unexpectedly, the sucking power of the black hole in front of him suddenly increased by several levels. Pulled by the tyrannical force of swallowing, the bodies of the two people inevitably slowed down. As a strong man in the late Jingxian stage, Li Yuanhao is far more powerful than Kong Xiang in the early Jingxian stage. He no longer cared about hiding, a white magic sword appeared above his head, and he slashed in the air. The extremely sharp innate sword energy broke through the tyrannical swallowing power, and he used his escape speed to the extreme and rushed out. Not so lucky if you are left with an empty phase. The green rainbow relic hangs down with thick Buddha light, protecting the whole body. A red wooden fish the size of a water ladle sheds a lot of light. In addition to these two top-grade immortal weapons, he took out all the other 4 or 5 high-grade fairy weapons. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 787. Boom. The golden ship hit hard. The Buddha's light enveloped the sky with a radius of more than 10 feet around him, and it exploded instantly like a crushed rotten watermelon. The whole person flew backwards like a kicked ball. The black hole behind swarmed up and ate everyone, including people and magic weapons. It's a long story, from the time when the Dragon Emperor activated the Great Five Elements Divine Light, and when Wan Yanzhen was unclear about the reality of the Divine Light, he captured it in one fell swoop, to when the empty phase was swallowed up by the black hole. The whole process took only 2 or 3 seconds. The Dragon Kings of the Four Seas are not fools. They know that now everyone is tied to the same rope. If Kong Xiang and Wan Yanzhen die, they will also suffer misfortune. So when we see the other party is in trouble, we are ready to take action. But Su Junming's sword energy from the mighty Yangtze River was already in front of him. Feeling the tyrannical power of the sword energy, Aochia didn't dare to neglect. Roared. The dragon horn above his head is like the sun, blooming with dazzling light. Dragon spirit divine light. Like a volcano erupting, vast blue divine light shot out. When the two sides collided, the sky was filled with flowers and rain. Aochia's dragon spirit divine light is the great magical power of the dragon clan. It is so powerful that it can divide seas and rivers, and lift mountains and mountains. If it is pushed to the extreme, it will be easy to break through the chaos and open up the world. When it comes to tyranny, there is no need to mention Su Junming's Pan Tuo Shenjian Sha. But his cultivation level is far behind Su Junming. The mighty sword energy hit Aoyi hard against the divine light. The huge dragon body writhed, retreated nearly 1,000 feet, and fell heavily into the yellow sand. For a moment, the earth trembled and yellow sand filled the sky. Brother! Ao Yi, Ao Bing, and Ao Ding roared in shock. But not before they could rush over. 1,000-foot thick silver-white iron spear had already exploded in the air, sweeping over with overwhelming force. 10 swings and 10 finals. Extremely domineering. It's shocking to hear. Ao Yi, the Dragon King of the West Sea, roared angrily, and a divine light flew up from his lower jaw, which instantly turned into a simple iron shield when it reached mid-air. The shield is completely green and black, with a round upper part and a lower part, with a domineering pattern engraved in the middle. The iron spear hit the iron shield hard. Clang! The harsh sound of gold and iron echoed throughout the sky. The iron shield was instantly knocked away, and Aoyi retreated thousands of feet before stopping. Wow! Aoyi, whose blood was boiling in his body, spurted out a mouthful of blood. He looked at the shallow depression in the middle of the black tortoise shield with disbelief on his face. This Basia iron shield is the sea-shattering treasure of his West Sea Dragon clan. In terms of defensive power, it is almost as good as the Suanweo shield, the treasure of Penglai Mountain. But even such a top-notch defensive treasure could barely stop the silver-white giant spear. Third brother, fourth brother, be careful! Aoji roared angrily. He flew out. In fact, there was no need to remind Ao Bing and Ao Ding, who had already raised their vigilance to their throats. They also saw the huge palm that covered the sky and the sun. If we say that the Amitabha palm of Daun Temple is as big as a mountain, the giant palm in front of you is like a small world pressing down, making it impossible for you to hide. Ao Bing opened his huge mouth, and a crimson ball the size of a water tank flew out. Look at my fire dragon divine pearl. Hoo! The infinite flames merged into a magnificent huge flame pillar, soaring into the sky. A water basin with 4 legs and an embossed dragon pattern flew out of Ao Ding's head. The basin is filled with the cold and domineering Xianming true water. Ao Ding did not hesitate to use his magic power, and a blue-black water column as thick as a water tank spurted out from the basin. There was only a small amount of Xianming true water at the beginning, but it expanded tens of thousands of times in an instant. A coldness that froze everything spreads. As the saying goes, water and fire have no mercy. At this moment, the scorching dragon fire and the cold Xianming true water formed like horns, soaring straight into the sky. Suddenly, a sky-blue stone gate appeared in the center of the giant palm. It is Su Junming's natal innate spiritual treasure and celestial phenomenon. The divine door opened, containing an unscrupulous space, which directly took in the dragon fire and Xianming true water. I will take as much as you want. And the giant palm dropped rapidly. When Erlong saw this scene, he couldn't help but be frightened to death. How can we fight if the clan's most precious treasure doesn't work? Calming pillar. Amidst the roar, an extremely thick stone pillar flew out of Aoyi's body. After landing, it grew rapidly, and heavy gray-white spiritual light spread out. As long as you are enveloped by this spiritual light, everything will be frozen. Of course, it also includes Su Junming's palm. It's a low-grade innate spiritual treasure at the perfect level, and it's also a rare sealed spiritual treasure. It's interesting. Su Junming instantly saw the reality of this stone pillar. But it's not that easy to immobilize me with this stone pillar alone. He himself has also understood the way of sealing, and has entered the Tai fairyland. Although he may not be able to break free from the seal of the stone pillar for a while, he will not be as helpless as others. Hey! Exhaling loudly, the surging energy and blood turned into huge force, and he pumped hard. The stone pillar swayed instantly. Seeing the scene in Aoyi's eyes, his eyes almost popped out. The Dingshen stake is a treasure inherited by the Dragon clan. From ancient times to the present, he has never seen anyone break free. But now, looking at the stone pillar that flickers on and off, as if it will collapse in the next second, the original confidence is rapidly fading. Let's go quickly. That guy is so powerful. Ao Yi, Ao Bing, and Ao Ding nodded quickly. After just a few battles, they realized the irreparable gap between themselves and their opponents. After all the martial arts masters have reached the perfection of Golden Immortal, the strength that explodes is truly terrifying. As for Li Yuanhao and Si Zhan, they were both about to die, so they could still be taken care of. Run? How can I let you run? Su Junming's eyes widened, and his two thighs were as big as giant pillars. Their muscles swelled, and boundless strength flowed down his waist and into his right arm. His arms, which were already as strong as mountains, suddenly became thicker. The energy and blood exploded, squeezing the surrounding air crazily, and a thunderous sound was heard. Break the law with force. The divine light of the concentration pile was shaky, exploded with a bang, and lost its effect. He picked up the collapsed stone pillar with his left hand and held the Pantuo divine spear with his right hand. He took big steps and chased after him. Heavy footsteps, earth-shattering. Rolling yellow sand rises into the sky. The entire Kubula desert seemed to have experienced 12 earthquakes. Fortunately, this place is deserted, otherwise if Su Junming steps down, humans and animals will become extinct. The shocking movement had already alarmed the Dragon King of the Four Seas, who was fleeing in front. No, he's coming after me. Run quickly, don't let him catch up. Su Junming stepped forward, holding the magic spear in his right hand, as fast as a meteor, directly penetrating the space. The four dragons were huge, and Su Junming's gun was fast. Ouch! The hot dragon's blood spilled onto the yellow sand. The painful dragon roar shook the world. The thick spear penetrated the torso of South Sea Dragon King Ao Bing and nailed him to the ground. Third brother! Third brother! Looking at Su Junming, who was chasing after him, and Ao Bing, who was nailed to the ground with a spear, unable to break free and in great pain, Ao Jia's eyes turned red, and the anger in his heart defeated his desire to escape. With a clap of his claws, countless seals flashed through. There was determination in his eyes. 7 transformations and 7 transformations Dragon God technique. In an instant, infinite spiritual energy swarmed towards Aojia's body. The originally 9,000-foot-long dragon body quickly expanded to 12,000 feet like a balloon, and its momentum became stronger and stronger, reaching the perfection of the Golden Immortal. Brother! Ao Yi and Ao Ding's hearts trembled. They all know the effect of the 7 transformations and 7 transformations of the Dragon God art, which is a kind of secret passed down by the Dragon clan and a desperate skill that is the best in the world. You can improve your strength in a short period of time, but after it ends, your cultivation level will permanently drop by 1 level. The late stage of Golden Immortal becomes the middle stage of Golden Immortal, and the middle stage of Golden Immortal falls to the early stage of Golden Immortal. Ao Yi and Ao Ding looked at each other, their expressions became firm, and they soon formed the same seal. However, their strength is not as good as Ao Jia's. After activating the 7 transformations and 7 transformations Dragon Divine Art, their bodies have exceeded 10,000 feet. Seeing their rising momentum, Su Junming laughed. This is what it looks like. He put away the concentration pillar in his left hand, his hands were bare, exposing his muscled chest, and he stepped forward with his mountain-like legs and rushed straight towards Ao Jia. Feeling the surging mana in his body, Ao Jia, who was much more attentive, roared, twitched his 4 claws, and rushed towards Su Junming. 1 person and 1 dragon, 2 behemoths, getting closer and closer. Boom! The sound is like thunder. The blood is soaring to the sky. The violent air waves were like a Category 12 hurricane, sweeping across thousands of miles. The rolling yellow sand is boiling. As a dragon, Aogia has a strong body and great strength, but in the end he is not as good as Su Junming, who created the true body of martial arts. He was immediately hit and flew backwards. Su Junming took 3 steps back in a row. At this time, Ao Yi and Ao Ding rushed forward. The 2 giant dragons, one on the left and one on the right, attack separately. They don't use magical weapons, they just open their teeth and claws, and use their primitive animal nature to bite them. Su Junming opened his big hands, one to the left and the other to grab the faucet. But the slender and thick dragon body was already hovering up, and the sharp dragon claws scratched the skin and flesh, leaving blood instantly. Su Junming frowned, grabbed Ao Ding with his right hand, and hit the ground hard. Boom! The earth trembled. Tens of thousands of hectares of yellow sand rise into the sky. The violent impact made Ao Ding dizzy, but despite his desperate efforts, it still tightly wrapped around Su Junming's arm, and the lower half of the dragon claw grabbed his chest. Under the painful stimulation, Su Junming's eyes also turned red. Lift your right foot, step on Ao Ding's dragon head, and push forward. Ao Ding could not resist his huge strength and was pulled directly from his body. But the hard dragon claws left several deep bloody wounds on his body, and the blood dripped down his strong body. Although it was tragic, it also gave Su Junming a domineering aura. Looking at Aogia, who rushed forward again, he leaned over and grabbed Ao Ding's dragon power, and turned it around violently. The dragon's body is like a thick black giant whip. Ouch! Although he tried his best to avoid it, he still collided with Ao Ding. Aogia was knocked out. After rolling more than a dozen times, he rolled down into the dust. Su Junming grabbed Ao Ding, took a step forward, and whipped Aogia down again. Aogia, who suffered a big loss, rolled away quickly. Boom, the earth trembles. A canyon that was 10,000 feet long, 2,000 to 3,000 feet wide, and hundreds of feet deep appeared on the ground. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 788. Chapter 769, 10 Battles and 10 Battles, Gods and Demons Overcome Changes. After repeated collisions, Ao Ding finally couldn't hold on any longer. The body of the 10,000-foot dragon slowly shrank, gradually becoming about 3,000 feet, and it lay on the ground with a weak breath. Obviously, his cultivation level has retreated a lot from before. Fourth brother. Su Junming, I'm going to kill you. Roaring angrily, Aogia rushed forward again. Ao Yi, who had been entangled in his left hand, struggled crazily. 4 giant mountain-like claws scratched Su Junming's left arm, chest, and back until they were bloody and bloody. This kind of pain that is unbearable for ordinary people is still within a tolerable atmosphere for Su Junming, who once forged his body in the earth's fire and endured more severe pain. Looking at Aogia, who had red eyes and roared and rushed towards him madly, Su Junming suddenly grabbed Ao Bing's left arm with his right hand and pulled hard. Laugh. Blood and flesh spattered, and 6 or 7 deep wounds appeared on his arms, chest, and back. The huge Ao Bing was snatched from his body. Throw it hard. Boom. The earth is like a drum, and the endless yellow sand turns into a sandstorm thousands of miles away under the powerful force. Ouch! Under the painful cry, just as he was about to stand up, the huge solace of his feet had already stepped down. Under the ruthless crushing, Ao Bing's head scales were shattered, dragon blood flowed across the 7 orifices, and he sank deeply into the yellow sand, without any movement. This situation completely drove Aogia into madness. The huge dragon body, like a giant hammer, crashed straight into Su Junming. Su Junming, who was full of murderous intent and completely enveloped in fighting spirit, raised his thick arms and headed straight towards Aochia. One person and one dragon, each doing their best. They hit each other hard. Boom. There seemed to be a muffled thunder exploding in the heaven and earth. Countless black cracks appeared in the air. Their physical duel alone shattered the space. The blood is burning and the sky is red. The violent force exploded, like a Category 12 storm, sweeping across tens of thousands of miles. Aochia, who had used the forbidden method to raise his strength to the peak, suffered a slight loss this time, but he was not directly knocked away like last time. After flattening more than a dozen hills, Aochia roared, waving his mountain-like giant claws, and charged towards Su Junming again. When the desire to kill arose, Su Junming did not use any other means and relied on his tyrannical body to fight Aochia. One person and one dragon were like mad cows, fighting one after another, as if they were tireless, fighting bloody battles. The collision of muscles and scales caused hot blood to fly. The ground cracked wherever I stepped, and yellow sand danced like a tide. As the dragon's claws danced, the hills were shattered. The hot masculine blood dispersed, and the yellow sand melted instantly, even turning into crystallized mountain rocks. But as soon as it took shape, it was quickly shattered into pieces by the huge force. The tragic aura shot straight into the sky. Within tens of thousands of miles, it turned into a real Shura field. Boom! There was another loud thunder-like sound. The long dragon shadow flew with blood, rolled and hit the ground heavily. The crystallized earth shattered instantly. Just as Aochia was about to stand up, he stepped down hard with his giant foot. Bang, the dragon's head sank. Aochia, who was just about to resist, was stunned by the huge force, and the accumulated strength was shattered. Looking at the broken antlers on the top of his head, broken dragon scales, one blind eye, and 3 broken dragon claws on his limbs, Aochia was in extremely miserable condition. You lose. The wild voice made him furious, and he was about to resist, but an extreme weakness surged into his heart. Feeling the embarrassment that his dantian was empty, he knew that the 7 transformations and 7 transformations dragon god art had expired and he no longer had the power to resist. Ha 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 ha. After laughing like crazy. If I can lose to you, I admit it. Just kill me. When dragons fight in the wild, their blood is black and yellow. Don't worry, I won't kill you. Aochia's expression changed slightly and he was about to speak. Suddenly, a silver-white stone door appeared, with a mighty spiritual light, and a powerful sealing force enveloped it. Aochia instantly felt that there was not much mana in his body and lost all movement. Then the body, blood, and finally the soul were sealed. Boom, 2 stone doors opened and Aochia was taken in. He put away the dying Aoyi, Aobing, and Aoding in turn and sealed them. Su Junming received the Dharmakaya. The huge body of 12,000 feet slowly recovered to about 9 feet. Looking at the wounds and rolled flesh all over his body, he slapped the gourd on his waist and took a few healing elixirs he had refined himself. The warm medicinal power spread out. With sufficient nutrition, blood and essence flowed, and his muscles began to grow. In a short time, most of those scary wounds were healed. The rest is just a matter of slowly recuperating. The movement on his side disappeared, instantly attracting the attention of the other 2 battlefields. When Sci-Jean saw Su Junming flying slowly towards him, he turned around and ran away as brave as him. Run? It's not that easy. The Dragon Emperor, who had been pressing his killing move to no avail, suddenly urged him. A black copper bell suddenly trembled. The bell sounded like a yellow bell, carrying a strange soul-dropping power, and flew straight towards Sci-Jean. Sci-Jean, who was very vigilant, did not dare to neglect, and quickly mobilized his energy and blood to resist the sound of the bell. But the falling soul sound of the falling soul clock is different from the ordinary rhythm method. It is invisible and has no quality, and directly hits the soul. The chi and blood of the witch clan is useful, but it is not as effective as dealing with the Buddhist lion's roar, Taoist demon spelling sounds, and other powerful musical powers. The sound of the bell enters the body, even though the Wu clan has already integrated the soul into every inch of the body, it still feels like the soul is rippling, and there is no way to control the master. Taking this opportunity, the great five elements divine light volleyed down. Sci-Jan was instantly taken in. With the five elements world suppressing him, not to mention him, even Tai celestial immortal would kneel down. How did you get yourself into such a miserable state? After seeing the blood stains on Su Junming's body, the Dragon Emperor frowned slightly. It's a rare opportunity to let go and fight. It's much more interesting to punch to the flesh than to use magical weapons. Practice martial arts and make your brain go crazy. Just as Su Junming was about to speak, a loud noise suddenly attracted their attention. I saw a huge golden ship in mid-air, with thousands of rays of light and thousands of auspicious colors, like an ancient mountain. At the bow of the ship, a giant tree with a height of several thousand feet, a crown like clouds, leaves like emeralds, and stems and branches, was suddenly knocked away. It was quickly swallowed by the huge black hole that reached 12,000 feet behind. The golden ship and the giant cave quickly shrank and disappeared in the blink of an eye. A ray of light flew over, revealing true Lord Tai lying on his back on a 3-foot-long white cloud. How is it possible? I'm actually the last one. You are the weakest and of course the last one, the Dragon Emperor said coldly. Bullshit. If it hadn't been for the fifth master who was reluctant to use the Swanyan gourd, I would have captured that Li Yuanhao long ago. Moreover, Cezanne is just a bereaved dog, and Li Yuanhao's Prajna treasure tree is a top-notch low-grade innate spiritual root, with good defense unparalleled. If it were you, if you didn't use the divine mirror of the void, you would probably be evenly matched with him, Tai Zhenjun said. Su Junming allowed the two of them to argue here, so he walked aside and used the secret divine ball to cover the secrets of the Dragon King of the Four Seas, Li Yuanhao, Kong Xiang, Sci-Jan, and Wan Yanzhen. Although the crisis between Zhao Kuangyan and Zhou Yuandaemen is about to break out, it has not yet broken out. If they were informed that Li Yuanhao and others had been captured by our side, it was hard to say whether the two sides would reconcile and turn around and kick him out as the biggest threat first. Therefore, the secret must be concealed, and this battlefield cannot be opened for the time being. Even Zixia and Nanzao were temporarily unmoved. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 789. Chapter 770, Storm in Liangshan Mountain. The bamboo forest behind the Qing Palace on Longhu Mountain. He still looks full of vitality and immortal energy. In order to avoid being defeated one by one like Su Junming destroyed the Jin and Liao dynasties, Zhang Chongyang and Zhang Xiaoyang of the Tianqi Tao, Wang Wenqing and Lin Lingsu of the Shenxiao Tao, Li Wuji of the Chunyang sect, and Zhu Hazai of the Kongtong sect, in addition to originally contacting Penglai Mountain, and when I was in Tiandu Mountain, I left and stayed here. Zhang Chongyang, who was meditating, suddenly opened his eyes, and his breath floated, alarming the 5 people meditating next to him. Look at his frown. Brother, what happened? After shaking his head slightly, I just felt a little uneasy suddenly, as if something big was about to happen. The rest of the people looked over. Taoist monks have a very keen sense of their own misfortunes and blessings when their spiritual platform is empty and the sky is bright. Zhang Chongyang, in particular, was proficient in the magic of heaven and was particularly sensitive to this. Could it be that the general trend of the world has changed? Lin Lingsu asked. Zhang Chongyang did not answer, and started to calculate the formula. Before he could do anything, a figure wearing a purple Taoist robe appeared in the bamboo forest. It was Zhang Shaoling, the leader of Tianqi Dao. Master Uncle, Master Uncle, Seniors. Xiaoling, why are you here? Zhang Xiaoyang asked. In fact, he and Zhang Xiaoling were originally disciples of the same generation, but after being promoted to the Golden Immortal Queen, according to the rules of Tianqi Dao, he automatically became one generation older to show his nobility. Yan Chixia, the fourth disciple of Chongshan true monarch Su Junming, the master of Chongshan Academy, came to visit and said that she was ordered by her master to personally deliver this jade slip to her uncle. As he spoke, he took out a white jade slip from his sleeve. Zhang Chongyang reached out and made a move, and the jade slip flew down into his palm. His consciousness was immersed in him, his face suddenly changed, his momentum became fierce, and he suddenly stood up. Everyone then stood up. Master, what's in it? Wang Wenqing asked. Taking a deep breath, Zhang Chongyang said solemnly, Chao Gai died in Zhengtu City, Song Jiang led Liangshan, and accepted the imperial edict of the Song dynasty. What? Zhang Xiaoyang ignored the rules and snatched the jade slip with his hands, and it turned out to be true. He immediately said angrily, where is Zhongli? How does he think so well of people? Zhang Chongyang took out a jade tablet from the magic bag, flicked it with his fingers, the light flickered, and the illusion of an old Taoist with white beard and hair appeared on it. Zhongli meets his uncle. Zhang Chongyang nodded slightly, let me ask you, how is Chao Gai now, and how is Liang Shan? Chao Gai's nephew is wise, and he has lived up to expectations. Now he has led Liangshan to occupy 7 prefectures, including Qingzhou Prefecture and Leizhou Prefecture, and 92 counties. Really? Disciples will never dare to lie. Very good. Take good care of Liangshan. Remember to report anything in time. Disciple, obey. With a flick of his finger, the aura of the jade plaque converged, and the figure of old man Zhongli disappeared. Could this be Su Junming's counterintuitive plan? Zhu Hazai asked. This kind of thing must not be hidden. With Su Junming's wisdom, he will not lie about this kind of thing, Li Wuji said. Then just now. Although the secret technique of soul control is rare in the spiritual world, it is not unheard of. I went to Liangshan to investigate in person, Zhang Xiaoyang said immediately. Etc. After stopping him, Zhang Chongyang looked around at everyone. Fellow Taoists, at this critical moment, how about I go along with you? Wang Wenqing nodded. There will be no results if you continue to wait here. Let's go out for a walk. Li Wuji stood up. What is supposed to come will always come, and it is better to come sooner than later. After reaching an agreement, the 6 people took off and flew straight towards Liangshan. Longhu Mountain is 20 million miles away from Liangshan Mountain, but with Jinxian's speed, it only takes about half a day. There is a vast ocean stretching across 80,000 miles of water. The rich aura of sunflower water is almost 10 times that of the outside world. However, because it is located inland, the wind and waves are not as strong as at sea. Liangshan is the largest island in the water, stretching nearly 1,000 miles across. Although most of it is rocky, the valleys and plains are also very densely populated. Moreover, the rise of water bandits in Liangshan also contributed to the prosperity here. Zhang Chongyang and the other 6 stood in mid-air, looking down at Liangshan below. But the big flag of practice for heaven has disappeared, replaced by the yellow dragon flag of the Song dynasty. You don't need to look to know what this means. Zhang Chongyang looked ugly, but Zhang Xiaoyang didn't give up, flew down, grabbed a few Liangshan soldiers who had spared their hands, and after questioning, everything became clear. Senior brother, Liangshan has accepted the imperial decree 7 days ago. Except for a few who stayed to look after the house, the rest went to Bianliang. Zhang Chongyang let out a long sigh. Zhao Kuangyan is indeed very clever. If Su Junming hadn't reminded him, we would still have been kept in the dark by him. Brother, let's catch up and intercept them. No. Zhang Chongyang shook his head. He knew very well that in order to avoid attracting suspicion from the outside world, Tianchi Dao only placed a Chao Gai in Liangshan, fully thinking that with the care of old man Zhongli, a consummate Xianxian, everything would be safe. Who would have thought that Zhao Kuangyan and Zhao Piyu were so shameless that they would bully the small ones regardless of their dignity? Without Chao Gai, Tianchi Dao also lost the means to control Liangshan. If I had known earlier, I should have buried a few more nails inside Liangshan, Zhang Chongyang thought to himself. Unfortunately, there is no regret medicine in the world. Even if we kill Song Jiang, Liangshan will never return to the hands of Tianchi Dao. Instead of going through all the trouble, it is better to go straight to Huanglong. Zhang Chongyang spoke firmly. Everyone was not a fool and instantly understood the meaning of his words. Zhao Kuangyan's plan to seize Liangshan was nothing more than to use it to pacify Tianhu, Wang Qing, and Fang La, take the opportunity to wipe out all the opposition forces in the Song dynasty, and lay the foundation for a new dynasty. We must never let him get what he wants, otherwise, with the dragon chi of the Song dynasty and the Tai circle, we will definitely not be our opponents. One of the biggest reasons why the four great sects launched an uprising among the people was to disrupt the rule of the Song dynasty and weaken the imperial dragon spirit of the Song dynasty. Only in this way can they defeat Zhao Kuangyan, who is in charge of the most important treasure of China in Qi County. After everyone pondered for a moment, they nodded. Fellow Taoist Kong He, please summon Taoist Suan Du and ask him to rush to Liangshan. Wang Wenqing nodded and took out a stick of water incense from the bag of magic. After igniting the real fire with magic power, the water incense ignited into green smoke. He silently recited the seal in his mouth. Gradually, there was still a bit of misty smoke at first. As Wang Wenqing cast the spell, it became sharp like a sharp sword, and penetrated into the sky, disappearing in mid-air. Zhang Chongyang took out a palm-sized jade talisman from his magic bag. His hands quickly formed seals, and gradually, the jade talisman bloomed with rich brilliance. Go. Give an order. The jade talisman suddenly turned into a long sword and disappeared into the air with a whoosh, at an extremely fast speed. Let's wait for them here on Liangshan Mountain, Zhang Chongyang said. Everyone nodded in agreement, recharging their energy and preparing for the most brutal battle. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 790. Chapter 771, Battle of Liangshan, Holy Heart Suandu. The highest peak of Liangshan Mountain is called Guanqiao Peak. Every April, the turbid waves of 80,000 miles in Ono's tower into the sky, and the mountain's roar and tsunami is spectacular. In the past, the arty bandits in Liangshan River often liked to come here to watch the tide. Among them, Song Jiang is the most popular. He even spent some money to build a sea viewing pavilion covering an area of half an acre on the top of the mountain. Now, after accepting the imperial edict, he led everyone from Liangshan to Bianliang. The Guanhai pavilion also became lonely. But in this empty sea viewing pavilion, 6 Taoists were sitting cross-legged. It is Zhang Chongyang and Zhang Xiaoyang of Tianchi Dao. Shen Xiao Dao, Wang Wenqing and Lin Lingsu. Li Wuji of Chunyang School and Zhu Hazai of Kongtong School. Suddenly, Zhang Chongyang opened his eyes, with a hint of excitement in his eyes. Coming. Everyone subconsciously followed his gaze, and sure enough, where the clouds and sky met in the distance, a faint star glow appeared. It started out as just a little bit, and quickly became huge. The light escaped as fast as lightning, coming at the speed of lightning. But after a moment, they came to the sea viewing pavilion and revealed 2 figures. The one on the left is wearing a white robe, a feather fan and a turban, with a face like a crown of jade, and a gold-painted folding fan in his hand. He looks like a nobleman from troubled times. He is the lord of Penglai Mountain, the Sanran of the Sacred Heart. On the right is a middle-aged man wearing a soap-colored robe, holding a bamboo staff, wearing a golden crown, and 3 strands of long beard on his chin. It is Taoist Suandu who is the master of the three overseas mountains Suandu Mountain. A master whose cultivation level is higher than Zhangkong Gyang's and has reached the stage of golden immortal small perfection. The four realms of immortals are heavenly immortals, true immortals, mysterious immortals, and golden immortals. Each level has 4 major realms and 12 small levels. The 4 major realms are called initial stage, middle stage, late stage, and perfection. Each large realm has 3 small realms. That's it for the early, middle, and late stages. The state of perfection is the most special. The 3 smaller stages are called small perfection, perfection, and great perfection respectively. To make it easier to understand, the golden immortal small perfection is the 10th level of the golden immortal, the golden immortal perfection is the 11th level of the golden immortal, and the golden immortal Dzogchen is the 12th level of the golden immortal. Seeing the two of them, Zhang Chongyang and others quickly stood up and greeted them. In their happiness, they never noticed that Penglai Mountain is in the East China Sea and Suandu Mountain is in the South China Sea. How could they come here at the same time? The Central Plains Taoist sect would be very grateful to you two Taoist friends for coming. Headed by Zhang Chongyang, the 6 people clasped their fists and saluted, showing great respect. After Sanren Jensen and Taoist Suandu looked at each other, the former said, 6 fellow Taoists, you are so polite. This is a great catastrophe of heaven and earth, and all races are in silence. How can we stay out of it? What fellow Taoist Suandu said is true. I, like Qilianzi, will create a prosperous Taoist kingdom belonging to our Taoist section as a disciple of the Taoist sect. How can I stay out of such an extraordinary thing? Taoist Suandu said. The 2 Taoist friends are eager to do justice and have a high moral integrity. We really admire them. Please lower your jade toes, Wang Wenqing said. Dare to disobey orders. The 2 put away their escape light and landed in the sea viewing pavilion nearby. With everyone's attentiveness, they were allowed to sit in the middle. 6 fellow Taoists urgently summoned me here, but are you preparing for a decisive battle with the Lord of Song Dynasty? Zhao Kuangyan, Taoist Suandu asked. Exactly, Zhang Chongyang nodded. Zhao Kuangyan has been secretly planning for many years. Now Liangshan's 108 magic stars have fallen into his hands. If he doesn't take action in advance, let him use these magic stars to eliminate the turmoil in the world and reunite with the dynasty Dragon Qi and the Tai Circle. We have no chance of winning, Zhang Chongyang said solemnly. After the Sacred Heart disciple nodded, how are you going to take action? Of course we should go straight to Bianliang, destroy the Liangshan bandits first, and then kill Zhao Kuangyan, Wang Wenqing said. The Tai Circle in Zhao Kuangyan's hand is the #1 spiritual treasure in this world. It is so powerful that even if 8 of us attack at the same time, we may not be able to defeat him, Taoist Suandu said. Although the Tai Circle is powerful, it may consume a lot of mana to drive this thing. Zhao Kuangyan is no more than a late-stage golden immortal monk and can only use it a few times. As for the Dragon Qi of the Emperor of the Song Dynasty, it was destroyed by Zhou Pihong 100 years ago. Now there are 3 major bandits that are limiting it. Compared with the heyday, it is less than 50%. With our strength, if we join forces to fight against the enemy, we have at least a 70% chance of winning, Zhang Chongyang said. Taoist Suandu and Sanren Jensen nodded after hearing this, and they exchanged vague glances. Suddenly, they all turned their heads and looked into the distance. His face changed drastically and he exclaimed in surprise. Zhao Kuangyan. What? Zhang Chongyang and others subconsciously looked into the distance. Next moment, Suandu and Jensen waved their bamboo sticks and folding fans, and struck Zhang Chongyang and Wang Wenqing next to them like lightning. Something happened suddenly and it turned into an elbow and armpit. No one expected it. Boom. The bamboo sticks and folding fans were full of magical power, which hit Zhang Chongyang and Wang Wenqing hard in the back of their hearts. Even though the Taoist robes worn by the 2 of them were themselves high-grade immortal weapons, Without using magic power to activate them, only 20% to 30% of their power was exerted. In comparison, bamboo sticks and folding fans are both top-notch artifacts. In addition, there is mental arithmetic but no intention. Wow! Vomiting blood, he was instantly knocked several hundred feet away and fell into a pool of water. Brother! Zhang Xiaoyang and Lin Lingsu were shocked and immediately became furious. Before they could take action, Suandu and Shensin had already attacked. Heavy staff shadows and endless strong winds roared towards him. Zhang Xiaoyang, Lin Lingsu, Li Wuji, and Zhu Hezai took action at the same time. Boom! A bolt from the blue. The magic power of the light explosion tore Guanhai Pavilion into pieces. Even the tide-watching peak at your feet is missing. The Sanren of Suandu have reached the stage of little perfection of the Golden Immortal, and the Sanren of the Sacred Heart are in the middle stage of the Golden Immortal. The two of them attack with all their strength. It directly knocked away Zhang Xiaoyang, Lin Lingsu, Li Wuji, and Zhu Hezai. Two embarrassed figures flew out of the water. It was Wang Wenqing and Zhang Chongyang. At this moment, the two of them have long lost their original celestial spirit. The Taoist robe was in pieces, the back was bloody, the face was pale, the chest was stained with blood, the temples were messy, and he was in an extremely miserable state. Senior brother! Zhang Xiaoyang and Lin Lingsu flew over quickly. Li Wuji and Zhu Hezai followed closely behind. Sacred Heart San and Suandu Taoists stood in mid-air and did not fight again. After taking the healing elixir, their breath became more stable, but Zhang and Wang, who were seriously injured, had lost the ability to fight again. Wang Wenqing stared at Taoist Suandu with an angry and sad tone. Why? He could never understand why the other party would take action against him after thousands of years of friendship. Taoist Suandu looked calm. Because I can give them more. Following the domineering and majestic voice, two rays of light came flying towards him. When they got closer, Zhao Quangayan and Zhao Piyu appeared. After sweeping his eyes over Zhang Chongyang and others, he said calmly, "Help you 4 daemon deal with me, but you will only get a few fiefdoms, and even if you succeed in the end, it will definitely be the 4 of you who finally sit on the throne of the human emperor. Avenue Gate, and then it's their turn. But, I am different. By destroying your 4 great sects, I can completely distribute your sphere of influence to them and get more. And after I attain the Tao and ascend, it will then be my turn to take charge of the world, my fellow Taoist Suandu. It's several times faster than with you. The most important thing is that if we join forces with you, the outcome is unpredictable. But with me, the chances of winning are greatly increased. Smart people know how to choose. As for your thousands of years of friendship, haha, in the face of the road, you can abandon your wife and children, let alone you." Looking at the silence of Taoist Suandu and Sanren of Shensin, it was obvious that everything was as Zhao Quangayan said. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 791. Chapter 772, The Power of Tai Circle. Haha. Zhang Chongyang laughed sadly. It's a pity that my old eyesight is so dim that I didn't see that you have nothing to cultivate, but you are full of wolf-like hearts and dog-like lungs. Humph, Zhang Chongyang, we are just laughing at the 50 steps. You borrowed the help of Zhou Pihong to secretly release the Tiangang demon star, and then planned it in Liangshan. For your own selfish purposes, you conspired to overthrow the Song dynasty, causing countless people to die tragically. You, how much better than the 2 of me? The successful king and the defeated bandit are now in this world and pretending to be pitiful here. It's really disgusting. Taoist Suandu said sarcastically without mercy. Senior brother, why bother talking to him? Lead me to kill this ruthless and unjust person first, Zhang Xiaoyang said angrily. Junior brother, don't act recklessly. After stopping Zhang Xiaoyang, Zhang Kongyang's gloomy gaze slowly swept over Zhao Kuangyan and the others. Do you think you've won? You were hit hard by my green jade staff. Although you were lucky enough not to die, you are now seriously injured and have no ability to fight back. And Wang Wenqing, who was hit by the mountain and river fan of fellow Taoist Sacred Heart Taoist, was also unlucky. Reason. Without the two of you, how many waves can the two of them, 2 early-stage golden immortals and 2 mid-stage golden immortals, create? Taoist Suan Du sneered. Zhang Chongyang, Zhang Xiaoyang, Wang Wenqing, Lin Lingsu, Li Wuji, Zhu Hazai, if you are willing to return to heaven, I can forget about it and let you go, Zhao Kuangyan said loudly. If we agree, what about them? Zhang Xiaoyang stretched out his hand and pointed at the Suan Du Taoist and Zhensin Sanren next to him. The two looked calm, as if they didn't hear what he said. Zhao Kuangyan smiled lightly. I will wait for you all to help me conquer the world and unite the 5 countries into one family. The country of hundreds of millions of miles can accommodate 6 Taoist sections. If you want us to help you, get rid of these 2 traitors first, Lin Lingsu said angrily. Zhao Kuangyan slowly shook his head. If you don't eat the toast, you will be punished with a drink. He stretched out his right palm, and as the light flickered, a cooked copper stick as thick as a child's wrist appeared in his palm. With a wave of the copper stick, there was a loud thunder. The vast thunder, like a dragon from the 9 heavens, roared and rushed forward. Next to him, Zhao Piyu, Zhensin Sanren, and Suan Du Taoist all started at the same time. In an instant, vast magic power soared into the sky. Raging thunder and lightning, surging bamboo staffs, and tyrannical phantoms of mountains and rivers all rushed over. Zhang Kongyang's 6 people looked solemn. If before, they still had the confidence to block, but now Zhang Chongyang and Wang Wenqing, the only 2 golden immortals, were seriously injured in the later stage. Zhang Xiaoyang, Lin Lingsu, Li Wuji, and Zhu Hazai, even if they could block it for a while with the Zhentsaling Bao, when Zhao Kuangyan takes out the Tai circle, he will inevitably fail and be killed. Don't fight hard. Let's use the teleportation talisman to leave here first, and then return to Longhu Mountain to recharge our batteries before seeking a decisive battle, Zhang Chongyang said in a message. The other 5 people nodded in agreement. This is the best way now. Although they knew that even if they returned to Longhu Mountain, Zhao Kuangyan and others would soon come to kill them. But even so, with the help of the Longhu Mountain Protection Formation, the chances of winning can be greatly improved. Block this blow first, otherwise if they break the Hushan Spirit Talisman, I'm afraid I will die here today, Li Wuji said. As he spoke, a golden red longsword appeared from behind. The hot and sharp sword energy was frightening. It is the Chunyang sect's spiritual treasure, the Chunyang sword. A low-grade innate spiritual treasure with 10 restrictions. Zhang Kongyang's heart moved, and a large seal with dragon and tiger coiled flew towards Zhang Xiaoyang. Junior brother, use this treasure. Zhang Xiaoyang nodded vigorously, and the pure magic power of Tianqi Dao, which was born from the same source, rolled into the dragon and tiger treasure seal. Ouch, roar. Along with a huge roar, a golden dragon and a giant tiger thousands of feet tall appeared in mid-air. Lin Lingsu's heart moved, huge thunder rolled up, and a huge thunderclap appeared in mid-air. As Zhu Hazai waved his hand, a large earth yellow flag rose fiercely, and the rich earth element aura turned into a huge mountain. It is the Kongtong sect's innate spiritual treasure Hustu Linki. The power exerted by the 4 innate spiritual treasures in the hands of the 4 golden immortals is earth-shattering. Compared with Zhao Kuangyan and others, he is not inferior. Even if the Tai circle in Zhao Kuangyan's hands was not too overbearing, even if their cultivation levels were not as good as those of Zhao Kuangyan, Suan Du, Zhao Piyu, and Zhensin, they would not necessarily lose in 4 versus 4. The battle between the 8 golden immortals was huge. Boom! The thunder exploded and the strong wind howled. The tyrannical explosion of energy pushed Onozawa down nearly 1,000 feet. The rolled-up lake water formed a huge wave hundreds of feet high, rolling straight towards Liangshan. Zhang Kongyang's expression changed drastically, and he didn't care about anything else. He waved his hand to block the roiling waves. Otherwise, if the flood flooded Liangshan, we would not know how many killings would have been caused. Let alone enlightenment by then, I'm afraid it will be difficult to reincarnate. In comparison, Zhao Kuangyan, Zhao Piyu, Suandu, and Tianxin were much colder. They didn't care how much damage the aftermath of the fight would cause, or they were sure that they would take action to protect Zhang Chongyang and others. Use your hands without mercy. Zhang Kongyang's face turned paler as he used his magic power rashly to pull on the wound. His brows knitted together tightly. He endured the pain and took out a sky-blue magic talisman from his magic bag. Transmission road. Don't be too lazy to fight, leave quickly. Zhang Xiaoyang, Lin Lingsu, Li Wuji, and Zhu Hezai nodded in unison, and activated nearly half of their magic power to deliver the final blow with the help of the innate spiritual treasure in their hands. All of a sudden, 4 immortal weapons that were as big as 10,000 feet appeared in mid-air. The huge dragon and tiger seal. The thunder was entangled, and the thunderous blast was shaped like a giant nail. The pure yang sword carries the sharp sword energy and reveals the true meaning of pure yang. Fiercely soaring into the sky, a vast and boundless giant flag. Go! Li Wuji and the 4 others were shocked. Like an ancient giant mountain, the fairy weapon was completely condensed with mana, carrying extremely tyrannical power and pushing straight forward. The majestic power and vast magic power made the Senran of the Sacred Heart, Taoist Suandu, and Zhao Piyu also change their expressions. They don't have any innate spiritual treasures. Zhao Kuangyan took a breath and felt something in his heart. A forest-white, shiny circle about 1 foot in diameter slowly flew out from the Beihui point on the top of the head. At the same time, a boundless and indestructible Dharma intention spread out. Tai circle. Seeing this circle, everyone around them had a mixture of fear and envy in their eyes. Let's go. Zhang Kongyang's expression changed drastically. After transmitting the message, he held up the Hushan talisman in his hand. A big black hole appeared, and with a step, the figure disappeared instantly. Knowing the seriousness, Zhang Xiaoyang, Wang Wenqing, and others immediately activated the Hushan spirit talisman and disappeared in mid-air. At this time, under Zhao Kuangyan's urging, the large and small circles had turned into mountains. With a flick of the halberd finger, a ray of silver lightning seemed to have traveled through space, spanning thousands of feet in an instant, and came to the side of the 10,000 feet long dragon and tiger treasure seal. The seal, which is usually strong enough to shatter mountains and suppress all evil spirits, is instantly penetrated when it touches the silver ring, like an egg touching tofu. The same goes for other golden swords, thunder gongs, and thick earth spirit flags. After being pierced by the Tai circle, the 4 10,000-foot magic weapons exploded instantly, turning into scattered spiritual energy and scattered like stars. He stretched out his hand and the Tai circle flew into his palm. Looking at the empty sky, Zhao Kuangyan frowned slightly. Ran. It should be the secret technique of Hushan Dao, otherwise it would definitely not be able to escape light. Zhao Pufei came over and said. Humph, I can run away from the monk, but I can't run away from the temple. Go to Longhu Mountain. The 4 of them jumped up and flew straight towards Longhu Mountain. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 792. This is an extremely wide hall, covering several acres in size and 8 or 9 feet high. The 4 sides are not solid walls, but a layer of light blue clouds. 7 big pearls above the head, arranged in the shape of the Big Dipper, shed bright moon-white light, illuminating the entire space as bright as day. Where is this place? Lin Lingsu asked subconsciously. The six of us here probably fell into the hands of Su Junming, Wang Wenqing said. Oh, it was in vain that we planned hard and thought we had a plan, but we didn't expect that we would be manipulated by others in the end, Zhang Chongyang sighed dejectedly. Su Junming, since we are in your hands, why don't you show up and meet us, Li Wuji shouted. Haha, I haven't seen you for a long time. How are you, the six fellow Taoists? Following the voice, a tall figure gradually solidified. Su Junming. Zhang Xiaoyang roared angrily and subconsciously urged the dragon and tiger seal to hit him. But before he could take action, an extremely powerful seal force swarmed in from somewhere. Within a moment, all his mana, even his body and soul were completely sealed, except for his soul. If you have something to say, why bother taking action? Su Junming, we, the four great sects, have no enmity or grudge against you. Why do you want to plot against us? Continuous failures made Zhang Chongyang lose his cool. With the wisdom of the heavenly master, it should be easy to guess the reason. So, you also aspire to be the co-lord of the world. No, what interests me is not the human emperor, but this world. What's the meaning? You will understand by then. It is useless to say more now. We can help you deal with Zhao Kuangyan and Zixia, Wang Wenqing said suddenly. Thank you very much, but Zixia Li Yuanhao, Kongxiang, Nanzhao Zhan, Jin Kingdom Remnant Wan Yanzhen, and the four Dragon Kings have all been captured by me, so I won't bother you fellow Taoists to help. As for Zhao Kuangyan, I only have find a way to deal with it. As soon as these words came out, the expressions of the six people all changed. Is everything you said true? Li Wuji said in disbelief. You are all already prisoners under my command, why do I need to lie to you? Looking at the six people with shocked faces, Su Junming smiled faintly. Don't worry, since we are both Taoists and we have no grudges, I won't do anything to you, but in the next period of time, I will make you stay here for a while. As the words fell, his figure gradually blurred. Invisible seals landed one after another, sealing the six people directly. After taking back his clone, Su Junming, who was sitting cross-legged in the pavilion by the creation spirit pond, waved his hand, and a light cyan ball of light flew into his hand. Inside was the seal Zhang Chongyang and six other people. With a finger, the celestial elephant gate shines brightly. Boom, the two stone doors slowly opened, revealing a bottomless black space passage. With a flick of a finger, the light cyan light ball flew in instantly. Not long after, the voice of joy came along the space passage. Another six. Come on, I will try to capture all the golden immortals in Qi County and China as soon as possible, Ao Tian said excitedly. Su Junming was too lazy to pay attention to him. With a wave of his sleeves, the space passage disappeared, and the celestial elephant divine gate immediately converged its aura and disappeared into the void. Do you want to take action? The Dragon Emperor on the side asked. Su Junming nodded slowly. I have long wanted to meet Zhao Kuangyan and see if the Tai circle in his hand is as strong as the legend. As agreed, you all have middle-grade innate spiritual treasures, and you want to give this Tai circle to me, Tai Zhenjun said. Su Junming nodded, don't be stingy with your Swanyan gourd this time, just use the soul-slaying banner to kill the Suandu Taoist. Haha, this time I can finally show off my precious power. Shall we go directly to Longhu Mountain? Of course not. Su Junming activated the heavenly secret divine ball, and after a moment, he smiled calmly. Let's go. The three of them jumped up and disappeared in an instant. In mid-air, Zhao Kuangyan, Zhao Pu, Suandu Taoist, and Zhensin Sanren were staring at Longhu Mountain. No, Tianchi Tao's mountain protecting formations are not all activated, Taoist Suandu asked in surprise. The mountain protecting formation is powerful and consumes a lot of spiritual energy, so it will not be fully activated unless it encounters a powerful enemy. Just like now, there is only a layer of formation shield covering the Qing Palace, which can block the monks who have not become immortals, but cannot block the golden immortals. Is there any fraud involved? It is said that thieves have a guilty conscience, and the Sanren of the Sacred Heart who had just taken the opportunity to seriously injure Wang Wenqing was now full of suspicions. Zhao Kuangyan looked at Longhu Mountain below and turned his head after a moment. Zeping, could you please calculate the location of Zhang Chongyang and the others? After Zhao Piyu nodded, he sat down cross-legged. Under the influence of magic power, a grey-white leather scroll flew out from Baihui Point. Slowly unfolding, a simple innate gossip was revealed in the large-sized leather scroll. As Zhao Piyu's momentum increased, the innate gossip began to spin rapidly, auras of spiritual light bloomed, and the mysterious and obscure aura gradually became stronger. After about a quarter of an hour, everything returned to calm. How? Zhao Kuangyan said impatiently. They are indeed not in Longhu Mountain, but in Zijing City. Zijing, they went to Zixia, Taoist Suandu said in surprise. It seems that they also know that if they stick to Longhu Mountain, they are destined to be no match for us, so they simply go to Li Yuanhao to join forces, Sacred Heart Sanren said. Why don't they go to Su Junming, who also belongs to the Taoist sect? Su Junming is too strong. If they go, they will inevitably succumb to this person. On the contrary, in Zixia, everyone's strength is as different as each other, so they are more equal. Moreover, if Zhang Chongyang and Wang Wenqing recover from their injuries, they can still gather the strength of 6 people and take the initiative, Taoist Suandu said. Do you still want to go? Zhao Piyu turned around and asked. After Zhao Kuangyan hesitated for a moment, his expression became firm. Go. We must not let Zhang Chongyang and Wang Wenqing recover. Otherwise, wouldn't our many years of painstaking planning be in vain? After a pause, his expression became fierce. If Li Yuanhao and the others dare to stop us, we will kill them all together. Sanren Chensin and Taoist Suandu didn't say much. When Zhang Chongyang and Wang Wenqing were injured, they had no other choice but to follow Zhao Kuangyan into the dark. The 4 of them jumped up and flew straight towards Zijing City. The distance of nearly 100 million miles would take half a day for Jingxian. After crossing the huge Gobi Desert, we arrived at the largest Huayun Desert in Qi County. Viewed from above, the desert is dotted with oases, and at the core of each oasis is a temple. This is also a characteristic of Zixia. There are Buddhist temples and towns later. All subjects are subsidiary assets of the Buddhist temple. The monks in the temple have the power of life and death over their subjects. It can be said that in Zixia, temples were the government. After continuing for millions of miles, a huge oasis appeared in front of us. It occupies a vast area, covering tens of thousands of miles from north to south and more than 30,000 miles from east to west. In Zixia, this oasis is called the Buddha's Light Oasis and is rumored to be the birthplace of Buddha. The core of Fogwang Oasis is Zijing City, the capital of Zixia. Looking at the magnificent city in front of them, the 4 of them lowered themselves to escape the light. I didn't notice it when I was high in the sky, but I realized it when I got closer. It's so quiet. The Sacred Heart spreads the path of humanity. Indeed, apart from the sound of wind, there was no sound of anyone around. You must know that this is the capital of the Zixia kingdom, with hundreds of millions of people living and residing here. Even in the dark, there is no shortage of Sanskrit chanting, let alone during the day. The 4 of them looked at each other, each seeing the surprise in each other's eyes. In order to avoid disturbing the situation, the spiritual consciousness that had been contained in the body was released. In an instant, the reality in Zijing City was reflected in the sea of consciousness. What makes them unbelievable is that there is no one in the entire Zijing City, not even in this Buddha's light oasis. The empty building looked almost like a ghost. Where have everyone gone? Taoist Suandu asked in surprise. This place is weird, let's leave first. Zhao Piyu said cautiously. Zhao Kuangyan nodded. Just as the four of them were about to leave, a sudden and earth-shattering bell rang throughout the world. The bell-like sound of a yellow bell is full of strange soul-dropping power. Facing the lost soul bell, the four of them are different. A huge five-clawed golden dragon rushed up from Zhao Kuangyan, protecting him in the middle. Zhao Piyu swayed, but soon a dragon turtle several hundred feet in size roared out and blocked the ringing of the bell. The two of them were supported by the fate of the Song dynasty. Although the soul-falling bell was strong, it could not shake their souls. In comparison, Shensin San and Suan Du Taoist were a bit miserable. Unprepared, he was rushed by the sound of the soul-destroying bell. His soul was instantly stirred up, his soul was scattered, and his mana was lost. He was carried down from mid-air. In an instant, a five-color divine light, like a five-color rainbow, came through the sky. Just when he was about to hit the Sanran of the Sacred Heart, a huge black shield that was 1,000 feet suddenly flew out from the latter's body. The shield is oval in shape as a whole, like a tortoise shell. The mottled uneven marks on the surface seem to have passed through eternal time. The arrival of the five-color divine light seemed to activate an unknown powerful force within the tortoise shell, and a layer of misty black mysterious light emerged. The five-color divine light touches it, but it's hard to move forward. However, the Taoist Suan Du next to him was not so lucky. When the five-color divine light flew in, a long banner, as black as ink and as black as smoke, followed. Lightning passed through Taoist Suan Du's body, and an almost solid figure was taken away. The remaining body fell from mid-air. It was quickly taken away by the black hole that suddenly appeared in the sky. Ha ha, third child, your great five elements divine light is not good enough. With laughter, three figures of different heights, short, fat and thin appeared in the air. However, a young man on the left wearing a white robe and a feather crown with a cold expression had a somewhat surprised look in his eyes. It seems that the Suanwu shield can block your great five elements divine light. It seems that it is really extraordinary, Su Junming said. Su Junming had experienced the Suanwu shield, the treasure of Penglai Mountain, when he was in the Shushan world. However, the basalt talisman in Taoist Chenmei's hand is much less powerful than the real basalt shield in front of him. The state is so bad, my head is blocked, there is only one chapter.